What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. No games to play before the January transfer window slams. Well, I was going to say slams open.
Slams open.
But it does open very, very soon. Just a couple of days to go till the January transfer window. And let's talk about some transfer rumours, and let's start off with Jordan Pickford, as Craig Hope from the Daily Mail says Tottenham, Manchester United and Chelsea all considering signing Jordan Pickford after his contract talks with Everton have stalled. Is he one that you would consider as a Hugo successor?
No, I think we can do better than Jordan Pickford. I think he's a decent keeper, and I think he's done well for England. I've never been that impressed with him for Everton, to be honest. I think he's got good at kicking, and he's a pretty decent shot stopper. I'm not sure about his command of the penalty area. I think there are better shot stoppers out there, and there are taller keepers out there as well. I just think there are better options.
Most definitely taller keepers.
I just think there are better options than Jordan Pickford. I don't think he's terrible. I really don't. But I don't think he's a top 6 goalkeeper.
Yeah, when you're talking about replacing Hugo Lloris, you need to get a top-class keeper. And look, I agree. Jordan Pickford's all right. He's a fairly capable Premier League keeper. But when you're talking about replacing Hugo Lloris, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. It's a massive stepward back. Taking Jordan Pickford as opposed to Hugo Lloris, so it's a no from me. And when you're comparing keepers like Pickford, Raya and Emi Martinez, I mean, I'd prefer both of Martinez and Raya over Pickford.
Me too.
Yeah. All right, well, that is that. Let me know in the comment section below, would you like to see Jordan Pickford through the door? Let's move on. Let's talk about some more rumours, and that name, Milan Skriniar, coming round once again. Sky Sports are saying that Inter Milan could sell Skriniar in January should he not renew his contract rather than lose him on a free in the summer. He is one of the centre-back targets for Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, it's no secret how much of a good player he is, and it's no secret of how much I would love him through the door as well. Whether we can get him through the door with the likes of PSG circling around is another story, but he would be the perfect replacement for Dyer, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and he's not too old. I still think he's in his late 20s, and if he's got his contract running down, there was all this talk about him signing a new contract, wasn't he? And he, for one reason or other, just hasn't happened, has it? It's just must have stalled, or he was talking about how much he loves playing in Milan, and for some reason he hasn't signed on, and there must be a reason for that. Inter keeps saying he's going to do it. He keeps saying that he wants to stay in Milan for a while, but something must be going wrong. And with Conte here at the moment anyway, maybe he could be the kind of signing that convinces Conte to stay with him here, but he's not under the specifications of what Conte described as a young player with low wages. He would definitely be high wages, but as a centre-back, maybe you can afford more to push about out in that sense, because they last a bit longer than maybe wingers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd love to see him through the door. 27 years of age, he'll command big wages as well. But when you're talking about signing someone like Milan Skriniar, that is a signal of intent. That is pushing the boat out. That is the signings that we want to see as Tottenham fans through the door at Hotspur Way. So, look, I find it hard to believe that we will sign a Milan Skriniar in January or even the summer on a free transfer, but we can dream. But let us know about Milan Skriniar. Would you like to see him through the door in the comment section below? Next up, we're going to talk about his club partner in Stefan de Vrij, as Voetbal International, a Dutch publication, say that Tottenham are interested in signing de Vrij from Inter Milan. It is becoming increasingly likely that he will leave on a free transfer in the summer. Again, doesn't really fit the model of what Conte was talking about during the week in young and low wages. He's fairly old. I think he's in his 30s now, isn't he? And probably command a fairly good fee, but he's better than what we have.
Well, if his contract's running out, I don't think the fee will be that high. And considering it probably would be a low
fee and wages, yeah.
Yeah, wages will be fairly substantial for a player of his age and his pedigree. Again, an upgrade on what we have at the moment. I do think there are probably better value players out there who we can maybe spend a bit more on, but be younger and higher potential. But when it comes to looking at a centre-back to upgrade what we have, I think he fits the bill, and I think he's a good option to be the central centre-back if we're running short of options. But I would prefer us to go for someone a bit younger and higher potential, to be honest. But if it's a case of him or we just don't get anyone, I'd rather him.
Yeah. Again, though, like, he's probably better than apart from Romero aside, than any of the centre-backs that we've got. That's the honest truth of it. So I would like to see him through the door if we can't get any other targets, but he's definitely not top of my list, that's for sure. Next up, let's talk about that Pedro Porro once again, as A. Bowler says that Tottenham have been informed by Sporting that they will only accept the release clause of £39 million for Pedro Porro, and that's been confirmed today by the Sporting manager Ruben Amirum, as well, as he says, I was told that Pedro Porro can only leave if a club meet that release clause. I mean, that release clause of £39 million, 45 million euros, I mean, you're talking about, for a top player, pennies, really.
I mean, in this day and age, 40 million is not something you should be bulking at if you're serious about moving the team on and upgrading in certain positions. Now, if you're not sure about Pedro Porro, and you're not sure if he's going to be worth it, then don't go for him. Go for someone you're sure about and spend the money there. But if you have scouted Pedro Porro and you think this is the guy who's going to be our upgrade and our right wing back, and I really believe in him, then 39 million, it really isn't that big of a, like, there is not that much of an outlay in the grand scheme of things. We've already got 50 million left over from the summer. So I would hate to think that we could end up losing this deal. Obviously, we could end up shaving a few million off and getting him for like 30 million instead of 39, and people can say, oh, great negotiating from Levy. But it's just as likely that we end up losing out on him because we're not prepared to just pay the clause and we want to win every single negotiation, which Levy does. And that's the most frustrating thing. So hopefully this is something, if we're sure about him, and, you know, Paratici said, you know, sure about him, and Conte thinks he could be a massive upgrade, I don't think we should be bulking at that price.
Completely agree. Just get the deal done. I mean, how much longer are we going to have to persist with Doherty, Emerson, and a player that we signed in the summer that Conte doesn't want to play? I mean, just get the deal done. We need a right wing back so desperately. The centre back situation, the right wing back situation is so dire at the moment. No pun intended there, by the way. And we just need to get men through the door. Just get them through the door. And when you've got a player like that that's ready and available, probably would like to come to the Premier League, come to Tottenham Hotspur, Champions League football, when he's got a release clause of something that we can afford, and he's going to have a sell-on fee that's going to be way higher than that if he reaches his potential, then it's a no-brainer for me.
I think if you're talking, if they were demanding like 60, 70 million, and it's the fact that he's not like a regular for Spain or anything, and he hasn't played, he's played Champions League, but, you know, he's not regular internationally, and he's still young and maybe hasn't hit his full potential. I would be saying, like, all right, maybe this isn't the right deal, but at 39 million, I think it's worth it. Like, the reality is, clubs above us sign that for bench players at this point. So I think you've got to go with the times.
Yeah. Absolutely spot on. I mean, you look at Wolves just now. They just signed Cunha for 50 million, and we're twiddling our thumbs, don't want to pay above 20 million for anyone. It's ridiculous.
For a player who would go straight into our first team, most likely.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to move along with the times, because we're literally stuck in like 15 years ago of football economics. It's crazy. But let's move on. Let's talk about Manuel Ugarte, Pedro Porro's teammate in Sporting Lisbon. A record out in Portugal, a publication out in Portugal, say that Tottenham are interested in Sporting Lisbon midfielder Manuel Ugarte, who has a release clause of £52.8 million. And Fijajes say that Tottenham are ready to submit an offer for Manuel Ugarte. I mean, I tell you the truth, I don't know much about him, to be honest, but I know he's a central midfielder. I think a deep line midfielder at that. Which I don't really think we have too much need for at the moment.
Yeah, if you're talking about spending 52 million euros on him, that's a lot of big outlay for a young midfielder where we have pretty well stocked in young midfielders. So, again, I'm more than happy for Spurs to be signing these kind of players, but I don't want it to be at the detriment of the team and the project. And I feel like if we spend 52 million on him, then we're probably going to bulk at a price for a player that we could desperately need. And we're constantly doing that. But spending big money on players on positions which aren't necessarily as needed as bigger holes in the squad. And we've done it so many times, and we should be prioritising the big holes that we have.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on. Let's talk about an outgoing now in Tanguy Ndombele. As Santi Auna says that Napoli are keen on permanently signing Tanguy Ndombele. Talks with Tottenham are planned in January, and the Italian club want to lower the €30 million buy option. I mean, he's had I would say, successful first half of the season so far with Napoli. Still can't get on the pitch for 90 minutes, which is we saw quite consistently at Spurs. Napoli, though, looking like they could go on and do a title challenge this year, and Ndombele definitely a part of that. In terms of selling him, I mean, I think it's just get him out the door at whatever cost, really.
Correct. When you're talking about lowering the 30 million euros, it's going to have to be lower because I don't see Napoli stumping up that kind of money right now for a player who's not guaranteed a place in their first team.
Swap deal, straight swap for Kim Min-jae?
Yeah, bring it on. Or Kavisha. I'll take that as well. Straight swap. That'll be great. That'll be nice. But I think from Spurs' point of view, as long as we can get those wages off the wage bill, that's the most important thing, because it's burning a hole at Tottenham right now, which we don't need if we're supposedly short of money. So I think the quicker we can get Ndombele out, the better.
What would you say, though, if Conte was to leave in the summer and, let's say, hypothetically, Poch was to come back? Would you take keeping Ndombele?
No, I'd rather sign someone else. Not if we sold him and we had money to spend, I'd rather twist and stick on Ndombele. But I know Ndombele's got high. You know, we've seen how his skills and potential, and if he was to stay on next season under Poch, then I'd be willing to see what happens. But I would rather just cut our losses at this point.
All right, that's it. Well, actually, it's not it. We've got a few more to talk about. Let's talk about Dejan Kulusevski, who's been named Swedish Player of the Year. And he's done an interview out in Sweden as well with some really good quotes in there. So first of all, congratulations for winning Swedish Player of the Year. And some of the quotes here is... the whole year has been absolutely fantastic. Actually, I came to Tottenham to get my life back, my hunger back, my love back after all they had flown away. I feel that I am getting better and better every day and have incredible fun when I play on the pitch. I think I can get much better. I'm on the right track. I'm feeling like I'm learning new things every day. And that the physic is getting much better and I'm developing and understanding the game even more. I really feel good right now, but I want more. I think that game versus City is my favourite game of all time. I'll never forget it. To score an assist in my first ever start for Tottenham was magical. And after that, I felt like no one could criticise me. I didn't care for other people's opinions. And then he just went on to say that we have to improve. It's not okay to start games like this when he's talking about conceding early in every game. And then he says, if we want to be a big team, then we need to start playing from the first minute. It's not enough with words. We have to do it on the pitch. And there's no truer words said, really.
Damn right, and I like his mentality. And obviously he's had a brilliant first year at Tottenham. He's really taken to the Premier League like a duck to water. He's been absolutely fantastic. He's been one of the top right wingers ever since he's joined Spurs, and I'm happy he's starting to get a bit of recognition from his homeland, and I'm happy that he's got that mentality to always improve and always get better, and the fact that we've given him that starting berth and let him and allowed him to kind of show off his talents on a big stage is important, and I think he probably feels like we've given him that platform, and I wouldn't say he owes us, but he's obviously delighted to be in one of the top Premier League teams right now, starting week in, week out as a young player, and he's been fantastic as well from his side, so it's been a marriage made in heaven, really.
Yeah, it really has. We just need more players of that mentality to come through the door, so... Happy days with Dejan Kulusevski. And last but not least, Spurs have made a signing in Andrei Shevchenko's son, 15 or 16 years old. He's going to join the Spurs Academy from the Chelsea Academy. And that's our first signing of January. Come on.
If he's anything like his father, maybe we have a good striker on our hands for the future. But was he let go of Chelsea's academy, or did we buy him?
Apparently, we just poached him, and he's coming to join Yaya Touré's team.
Come on! So let's hope he'll have a big future at Spurs.
Let's hope so, because the last striker we poached off a rival's academy didn't turn out too badly in Harry Kane, did he?
Not bad.
But there you go. That is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know your thoughts on all the news stories we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.